Hey, everybody. Hey, replay viewers. So, I know it's right about bedtime, but, you scope when you can, right? You jump on when you have a chance. So, hoping some folks are out there who can hop on and join me. And we will talk about Khan Academy. Let me switch the phone around. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hold on. Let me get this set up here so we can do this. Hi there. Hello. Hi, Alicia. I saw your scope earlier. Actually, my husband and I were watching it while we were cooking dinner. Alicia Brignall, I'm glad you're here too. So, here's what I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about Khan Academy. Hey, hello. So many happy people. So glad to see you guys on here. I wanted to talk about Khan Academy. And so first of all, if you're on here and you're watching, just pop a little response up there and let me know who has ever used Khan Academy. Jenny, I know you've used Khan Academy some. I want to know if you've used it. I know it's hard to like super fast thumb type, but have you used it? What do you like it for? Okay, so Alicia, do you use it as kind of the backbone of your math, or just, Jenny, I think you're using it over the summer, right? Using Khan Academy over the summer for kind of refresh and review and that kind of thing? For yourself, right? Yeah, definitely. It works for that too. Yeah, my son and I, oh, Alicia, you're so kind. Thank you. I love your blog. Yes, right. Khan supplemental during the school year. Okay, so here's what I want to talk to you about. So first of all, I'm totally not the advocate for like you have to do it this way, but whenever I get on here and I share things, it's more like you totally don't have to do it that way. You could do it this way. Like, here's another option, right? So that's what I'm here to share. Not like textbooks are bad, but like, here's another option if you wanted to change things up a little bit. Go through elementary math for review, right? Okay, so what we ran into this year was so many people doing so many workbooks that mommy had to check, and I was just overwhelmed. And it just felt like dementors were sucking the soul out of our math. Like, all the time that we invested in math was basically like, let me go over these instructions with you. This is what you do for these 5 problems. Now go do them. No, these 3 are wrong. Do them over again and do an extra one. And, I love math. And actually, my dad is a real math guy. He's an IT programmer kind of guy. And, when we were growing up, math was something we do for fun in the car. But, my son, who also has his grandpa's math ability, was like, I hate math. I'm no good at math. And I just thought, this is bad. This is wrong. I mean, some people aren't good at math. That's fine. And, we can, hey, oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. We'll talk about Khan. I just felt like it was not good. It was not good for, if you're struggling with math, that's one thing. But these were not kids who were struggling with math. These were kids who had math ability but hated math, because to them, basically, so we were using Abeka. And look, I'm not an anti-Abeka person at all. I know that a big portion of this is just our family like setup. So, okay, let me back up and introduce myself a little bit. I forgot to do that. But my name is Lena. I homeschool. I have 7 children. 4 of them are technically in the school-aged range. So I have just turned 11-year-old, I can't think, 9, 8, 6, a just turned 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and then like a 16-month-old. So, part of it was that I had 4 kids, and 4 that are still young enough that they need mommy's input, right? So if I had them spread out a little bit more, and older ones could be more independent, but we just kind of hit this rough spot this year where there just wasn't enough time to do both, like, here's how you do your math today, and correct, check it and make corrections, and have time in the schedule for like hands-on math activity and real life math and that kind of thing. And so, I really loved the idea of living math and math activities and hands-on math and that kind of thing. But I was a little bit nervous. And I know some people, like, they just totally go with that. That's all the math they do. And like, if you watch Liz Davis's scopes, they're very unschooly and And, I don't know, maybe they use con too. I don't know. But, they're just very bold about, like, math is going to happen in real life, and you don't need to worry about if you, are keeping up with everybody else and all that. And so the thing that I've loved about con this year is two things. Well, three, really. First of all, it's free. So there was no risk, right? If we decided to try it out and see if it worked for us, we weren't plunking down chunks of cash. And I know, there's other online programs that you can have a free trial for. So you could do that with other programs. Totally not Mathy. So, okay. So another reason, when I think about it, Algebra 2 is coming. So, yeah, okay. So, and I will say, my oldest is 11. He was in 6th grade math this year. So, I don't have experience with high school math in terms of teaching high school math. And I also will say, my kids are pretty good at math. So I'm not speaking from the perspective of somebody who, has a real struggling math student and has worked through that with them. But so, the things that I really needed in order to teach math were, I needed some kind of a scope and sequence, right? Like some kind of a, basically, what do we want to cover? And I understand that, I could make that up myself, or I could collect that from a bunch of different resources or whatever. I actually looked at the Common Core, which I know people have bad feelings about the Common Core, but if nothing else, it's just a list of stuff that generally like 4th graders cover or 5th graders cover or whatever. I'm not talking about the tests for the Common Core, but just the list of things, just kind of gives you a ballpark like, hey, here's some stuff you could do in 4th grade or 5th grade or 2nd grade or whatever. And so Khan will do that. Hey, Amy. Khan will do that because it's got, for every grade there's objectives that are being hit. So if what you want is just a little, like reassurance that here's the topics we need to make sure to cover. And then, of course, there's videos with everything. So before we really used Khan for our kind of regular math, what we do is we would use Khan for like somebody has to do converting decimals to percentages. And I couldn't figure out a good way to explain it or something. So we would search YouTube for a video. The scope and sequence list. Right. So Khan at least can be a resource for, the kind of topics. And they do a good job of breaking down the topics. Like, so my 3rd grader was doing area, and they start with figuring out area like in square blocks. And then they transfer them over to, figuring out, just giving like number measures, of the sides and that sort of thing. So they do a good job of showing you how you could break it into little pieces too. So like I said before, we would search YouTube for a video that would talk about, how do you convert decimals to percentages or whatever. And so we'd watch some Khan videos before just through YouTube. And so when we started using Khan on the, on the Khan Academy website, that piece was already familiar to us. So what I wanted to show you is how I've set up my kids in classes, and I'm sure you guys have already done this, but the reason I want to show you that is because what we started doing, hey Ingrid, welcome, is we did a lot more family math. So, if you follow me on Instagram or if we're friends on Facebook, you might have seen pictures of like, we did an activity the other day with Play-Doh and with equivalent fractions. So we made circles in Play-Doh and we marked off sections and then we divided them up further and talked about equivalent fractions. So what I was able to do, hey, you can come on in if you need to get your computer or whatever, it's fine. I'm scoping, but you can hop in, that's fine. Yeah, so, and it was, the thing that I loved is that I did that with the oldest 4, so 11, 9, 8, 6, and, do they all get it to the same level? They don't, but that's okay. I mean, they're each, picking up as much as they're able, and probably the younger ones are picking up more than they would if I was only doing, like a 1st grade lesson with the 6-year-old. She's probably getting more than she would have just because she's sitting with the other kids and listening in and all that. And so that's fine. And, so many of our other subjects, we do it that way. We do whole group, and I figure the little ones are going to pick up whatever they can pick up. But I'd never really done math that way. I always thought, oh, you can't do math like that. You have to do math like in individual levels and all that. And, hi, Ellie. My niece Ellie is watching the scope. Yay. Ellie, my brother Ryan is also a pretty bright math guy, and his kids are like David, my nephew who just turned 6, can tell you all the elements on the periodic table and that kind of fun stuff. So, okay, so the cool thing about con, yes, that's right. And when they get older, that's right. They've already heard those kind of things. And so, okay, so let me just mention this right now. You know, with your children, think about your pre-readers and think about their vocabulary. So your pre-readers can speak way more words than they can write, right? So like my 4-year-old, he can't read or write yet, or he just turned 5, but he, you know, can talk a blue streak. So they understand verbally much more than they can actually put on paper and produce. Well, the same thing is true with math, right? So a kid who wouldn't, you know, if I wrote a 1 and then a line under it and then a 4 underneath that, they wouldn't understand that that means 1/4, or they wouldn't be able to write that, but they still understand the concept of fourths. They still understand fractions. So they're able to, you know, they're able to interact with the concepts long before they can write them or calculate them. So, you know, and just like, it's not a problem to use big vocabulary words with a little person. It can't hurt them. The same thing, you know, I mean, you don't want to stress them out or overwhelm them, but it's not really a problem to put in front of them math concepts that are beyond where they are right now. That's okay. So let me show you what I did with con, because, you know, so like I said, we're doing our kind of activities whole group, but then I'm able to go in and select activities for them to do on con, each from their own kind of grade level, but lining it up with whatever topic we're discussing. And I'm speaking broadly. So like for about 6 or 8 weeks, we were doing all kinds of geometry. We were reading circumference books, and we were reading string, straight edge, and shadow. And we were doing, you know, we celebrated Pi Day right around, March 14th, and did geometry activities. And so then I could go in on con and, hold on, and I could select geometry activities for each of the children. And so they're at different levels, and they're not all doing the same thing. You know, so my 4th and 5th grade level kids are, you know, like identifying angles and calculating, you know, is this one going to be less than 90, greater than 90, that kind of thing. And my younger ones are doing things like identifying shapes. Which one of these is a rhombus? You know, what could a square be a rhombus? Is a rhombus a square? That kind of thing. So the key to doing this is that you need to set up classes. I'm going to flip this around real quick and show you my computer. Yeah, just watch the replay. That's fine. It'll be here. Okay, so I hope you can see this somewhat. Maybe I ought to flip it around sideways so you can see the whole screen. Hold on. It's going to go crazy on you. I hope you don't get motion sick while I'm getting the camera fixed. Okay, hopefully you can sort of see that. Okay, so when you log in, and I've got my own login here, you're going to go up to your name up here, and you're going to put in students, and you don't want to put in children. I tried that first, and that's more like for if your kids are in class with a teacher, and then you're the mom at home helping them out. But you really, as the homeschool parent, you really want to add them as students. And, you know, maybe another scope we can talk about how to add students. But so what I did was I created a class for each child, because each child was going to be in their own grade level. And so what you do is you assign a mission to a class. And so obviously, you know, I didn't want 2 kids in the same class because I wanted to be able to assign a different mission to each class. So, you know, they're just called like Emma's class, Luke's class. We have a programming class because my theory was that my son and I were going to learn HTML and CSS this summer so that, you know, he can code my blog for me. Haha. We'll see. So each kid has their own class, and then, and really the first, yeah, that's fine. The first level that you can do is 3rd grade. So my first grader is just doing like early math, which is just kind of everything below 3rd grade, and it's perfect for her at this point. Okay, so let's look at a class, and you just go in here under skills progress. Did I not? Okay, there it goes. So when you look at skills progress, so then it will tell you, so for example, we did geometry, and I think all this stuff got finished, but you can open up a skill, so I don't know if you can read these on your screen, but like this one says, identify rays, lines, and line segments. Yes, you may, Amy. That would be great. Actually, Amy, I was waiting for you to do Math Week so I could share this. So you can see that they all start out with needs practice. Like when they haven't done it, they would start out under needs practice. And then they would move to practiced, level 1, level 2, and mastered. Or they might move over here to struggling if it was something that they tried but they struggled with it. And you can see a little bit about what are they going to do in that level. And you can open it, like if you click on this, then you'll open basically what they would see if they went to that activity. And then, this is the part I love. You can recommend activities for them. So, like, even though she's mastered this one already, you can click on recommend. So, first it says recommend to students who need practice. And let me show you one up here, like, that she hasn't done yet. Okay, so this is under Khan Academy. If you go, Jenny, up here to where your name is, and go to your students. And I didn't really go over how to add students and add classes. Maybe I could do that in another scope. But once you've got students and classes, that's where it is. So if you go to, like, let's say, okay, so here's one she hasn't practiced yet. And if you go choose down here, recommend to students that need practice, it will automatically select her because she needs practice on that one. But if you go to one like down here, this one we were looking at in geometry, that she is already mastered, you can still choose recommend to students who need practice. There aren't any students who need practice because obviously she's the only one in her class, but you can still check off her name and then click recommend to your student. I'm not going to recommend that one to her right now because she's already had plenty of practice on that one, but that's how you would recommend for them. And that way, so then I could go in, and so when we were working on geometry, then everybody was doing geometry stuff in Khan. And right now we're working on fractions. So right now everybody's working their way through fraction stuff on Khan Academy. And like I said, it starts at 3rd grade. So the 6-year-old is not necessarily doing stuff that's aligned with where we are. But okay, so Amy, I would say it depends on how you set it up. And I do it differently depending on the day. Like sometimes I'll say just hop on and do one Khan Academy lesson because, okay, so the only reason, Alicia, that I put separate classes for each kid is because I wanted to assign a different mission to each class, like a different grade level. And, okay, so Alicia, I'll talk about that in just a second. Let me finish answering Amy's question. Yeah, my kids each have their own account. Now, what I'm in right now is my account, which is why I can see all of their work, because I'm in, like, the teacher account. But, so, Amy, if you say, like, just get on and do one lesson, you probably could do it in, I don't know, Emma, Khan Academy lesson, like, 5 minutes, maybe? Yeah. Like, one lesson really quick. So sometimes I say, like, just do a lesson if we're in a hurry, or sometimes I'll say spend 15 minutes on there, and at the end of 15 minutes, then you can... like finish up whatever lesson you're on. Okay, so, Alicia, so I have different classes for each of my students just because you want to select a mission for your class because missions, they can do lessons from anything. Like they can, if you put them in the 4th grade class, they could still do 3rd grade lessons, 8th grade lessons, they could learn animation, they could learn programming, they can learn whatever they want, but whatever mission their class has been given is the one that they're going to be tracked in terms of like, getting badges and leveling up and getting, points and percentage, like going by percentage. So let me show you what it looks like when they have a mission when you log in from the student view. In. Okay, so Google is saving all the passwords. Okay, so she has a mission here that's already in progress. And so when she clicks on it, actually, I'm probably going to make a liar of myself because I think she said, no, there are recommended. Okay, so you'll see here, Khan Academy is automatically giving her activities to do. But you'll see here at the top, these ones that are with like red on it, it says recommended by Lena Brooke. And so I tell my kids just to go ahead and do the ones that are recommended. And then every once in a while, it will give them at the top, it's not available for her right now because I think she just did one today, but a mastery challenge. And so it will be like a chance to kind of check off the things you've been practicing. So if you answer them right in the mastery challenge, it's like you're, completed, you're accomplished. And so you can see with the mission over here, it gives her overall progress. So she's at 35% progress, and it'll show like 43 skills mastered, 0 are at level 2, 1 skills at level 1. There's 2 that she's practiced, and then there's 79 skills she hasn't started yet. So just gives an idea of where she's going with that. And I don't know if you guys have messed like with the avatars or not, but when they earn points, then they get badges, and they can change their avatar and everything. So yeah, and I liked putting them each in a different class, because it could be possible at some point, like she could finish 4th grade and go into the 5th grade one while he's still in 5th grade, but at least I have the same mission or a different mission if I needed to. So that's how that's going. Okay, now, so I will say, I set up these missions for them, what, Emma, maybe 6 weeks ago? How long? So, a month ago. Okay, yeah. So we have not been, what if he isn't actually at grade 6 level yet, though? So are you saying, like, you want to put him in the 6th grade mission, but he's not ready for it yet, or what? Tell me more about. Okay, so I would say, for example, my kids were working in textbooks. I'm going to flip this around again so I can put the tripod down and talk to you like a real person. Hey, Nadine. Yay, my friend Nadine. Okay, so here's what I did. My kids were working in textbooks up until like January, and we just gave up. We couldn't do that anymore for a lot of reasons. So what I did was, like, my son was in a 6th grade math book, and my create several missions. Okay, no, but you can add the same student to several classes. So like my son right now is in the class called Luke's class, which has a 5th grade mission, and you can put him, I also added him to the programming class where he and I are learning HTML. He's in 6th grade, registered by the school board. Okay, so I would say you put him in whatever level you feel like. What I was going to say was, I put my kids below where they were. So, like I said, they've been working on these missions for a month, and they're all between like a third and halfway completed the mission in a month. And, I mean, and we really have not put tons of time in it. There are days where we don't even get to it. So, this is like, if you need half an hour of math time a day, 5 days a week for like 32 or 36 weeks of a school year, this ain't it. I mean, you could just have them keep reviewing over and over and over and over again the same things, I guess, and fill up that much time. But like I said, in a month of not getting to it every day, and even in a regular school week, we only school Tuesday through Friday. So, yeah, so like a third to 50% complete in, I don't know, maybe 25 days of doing work. But this is like the level below where they each were in textbooks when we dropped the textbooks. So like I said, the main thing I wanted this for was just really, honestly, for my little peace of mind. Like, okay, I'm really not like leaving any major gaps in their math education. I'm really not like tricking myself into believing that we're doing math when we're actually not doing any math. But the majority of our math time really, when we do like a math lesson, it's really like a group activity, hands-on, or read alouds. I mean, just reading aloud math books or whatever. So that's how we've used Khan Academy. And maybe I can come back later and do a scope on how to set up your classes and put missions for them and everything. But Alicia, I would say you could create like a 2 different classes for your son and add him to both of those classes. And that way you could recommend activities for him from, like, for example, if geometry, he could do at a higher level, but, calculations, he needed something lower, then you could have some flexibility with that. So anyway, so I'm assuming that over the summer, we will finish up the grade level like below theirs, and then go through the grade level that they're on now. And I don't know, I mean, I don't want to, my goal is not to like speed them through school super fast. I just, like I said, I just want to make sure that we're not missing obvious stuff that we should have been thinking about. So, and it's been perfect for that. Perfect. can't mix grade levels within one class. No, each class only gets one mission. Because I guess they're thinking like of a school teacher where you're going to put in 25 kids and you're going to assign all those kids like third grade or something. So, but you could, like I said, one student can be in multiple classes. So you could, I could take Luke and add him. I could create another class and add him to another class and have a, different mission for that other class. So one student can have multiple missions, but not one class. Does that make sense? That's why each of my kids has their own class, so that they each can have their own mission at their own level. So, okay. So, are there any other questions? I kind of did this flying by the seat of my pants, but if there's anything I said that didn't make sense, or I'm going to put this up on my blog's Facebook page so other people can watch it. So if you think of other questions, or like if you want to give me some feedback on what would be helpful to put in a follow-up scope to cover other aspects like setting up classes and stuff, just toss it in the Facebook post there and I can do another scope later. But anyway, all that to say, we've loved Con, and I did not purchase math textbooks for next year. I didn't. I just felt like we didn't need them. So I don't know. I'm not speaking like forever and ever and ever, because I've never taught high school math to homeschoolers. But for now, I don't feel like we need them. And Con is free. So yay, Con and a library card, and we're good to go. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining me. Hope you have a lovely evening. You're so welcome. Is it just me? Why did the broadcast never stop when I hit the stop button?